Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen. Guys, remember this is the channel that brings you your team every day, daily Glasgow Rangers news brought to you for absolutely free, for nothing, not asking you for any money. All I ask you to do is to hit that sub, set your notification to all so it springs up on your mobile device or on your computer, telling you when we've got a new video out, when we go live, and when we've got a game live stream. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. The channel is doing so well. About 877 subs as we continue that crusade towards 1,000 subs as soon as we possibly can, so we can continue to grow the channel and do even more with this channel. Right, such a lot to get through today on this Glasgow Rangers Nation latest news update. We've got what Chris Boyd has had to say about Malik Tillman, and we asked, has Malik Tillman played his last game for Rangers? We also have got news that might be a slightly unpopular take on James Tavernier amongst some fans. A transfer link to a young teenage midfielder from Birmingham City, and also news about Rangers Academy director as well. Let's start with our news about the Academy director, Craig Mulholland. Craig Mulholland has been announced within the last hour, decided to leave Rangers at the end of the season. This is obviously just come out in the last hour. I'm recording this video last night, so that's why I'm saying it's in the last hour. It's currently 10:05 when I record, 5:10, sorry, at night when I'm recording this video for you this morning to bring you all the obviously news updates. So the 45-year-old has played a huge role in transforming the club's youth setup into what has been a very high quality program, producing some very fine talents. If we think about some of the talents that have come through the academy in the last few, thinking the likes of Nathan Patterson, Gilmore, Robbie McCrory, Leon King, Alex Lowry, and Adam Devine. Mulholland has decided now is the time that he should depart Rangers. This is what Mulholland had to say. He said, "I've loved my 20 years working at the club that I had grown up with, and in particular the last 8 leading our academy, B team and women's teams. However, in all leadership positions, sometimes knowing when the right time to move on is as important as deciding which opportunities to take. My successor will inherit some fantastic people working passionately to deliver on a clear strategic vision underpinned by strong processes and a modern, innovative methodology. They will also inherit some outstanding young talents, which will lead to an exciting future for the club and the academy over the next few years. I am immensely proud of all we have achieved and would like to thank John Stewart, James, and all of the current and previous board members for their fantastic support, and wish Michael and his staff the very best for the future. Above all, I would like to thank each and every one of the young players who drive our motivation and energy every single day." James Bisgrove spoke on behalf of the club and thanked Craig Mulholland for the work that he's done for the club over the last 20 years. So certainly this is a very important appointment that Rangers are going to have to make now. Another important appointment. So now we're looking for a director of football and a head of an academy. It certainly seems that since John Bennett has become chairman, he is cleaning house at the top end of the club, with the director of football going, with Stuart Robertson departing, both at the end of the season. Obviously, James Bisgrove moving up to be Chief Executive Officer. The hunt for the Director of Football is still on. We now need a new Academy Director. Obviously, we took a new manager on this season. This is really a case of the fact the club is really changing at the top and evolving and trying to move forward as a club as we seek, obviously, to continue to evolve this club into a modern 21st century European club that is going to really compete at all levels, not only in our own domestic competition, but in Europe as well. A little bit of news as well about Ryan Kent. Now, obviously, a lot of us are exceptionally disappointed with Ryan after his performance at the weekend against Celtic in that semi-final. Ryan was obviously hooked off at half-time after what I think we can all agree was an absolutely abject performance by the Englishman. His performance was so poor. At times, he just looked disinterested, seemed to be jogging rather than making an effort to get the ball, and was one of the players to blame for Celtic's winning goal, as he ran away from the ball rather than going to clear it, as not only did he, but Borna Barisic, Nicholas Raskin and John Lundstrom all seemed to leave it to each other to clear the ball, allowing Maeda to sneak in and cross the ball for Jota to head Celtic's winning goal. It appears, according to rumours tonight, that Fenerbahce have offered a 3-year deal to Ryan Kent for his services. This is according to Turkish newspaper outlet Takvim. What a name, Takvim. Apparently, he is looking at this deal, and this could be out for Kent, who it is thought is very, very much likely to leave Rangers this summer. Now, he has been linked with moves to the English Premier League, to Burnley and Leeds United in recent months. But it seems as though Turkish giants Fenerbahce have stolen a march on the two Premier League clubs and are very much intent on signing Ryan Kent. It said that Fenerbahce, which started their work for next season, included Kent, who plays for Rangers, in the transfer list for the left wing. This is what the paper has had to say. Fenerbahce offered a 3 + 1 year contract, so 1 year option contract, to the English left winger Ryan Kent, whose contract will expire for Rangers this summer. It has been learned that the Yellow and Navy Blues are working hard for this transfer and want to finish the transfer by the end of this season. That is what the paper is saying at this moment in time. So could Kent be on his way to Turkey instead of Burnley? And could he be going to play for Fenerbahce? And do any of us really care, as long as he just goes after that abject performance? He certainly seems to have, in my opinion, tarnished his legacy at the club with his performances in the last few months. Definitely something that, that is not good at all. Another Rangers star whose future could be in doubt, and I'm going to get to Malik Tillman in a moment, is Ben Davies. Now, there seems to be strong rumours again coming out of the club that, due to the fact that Davies has in recent weeks really struggled with form and looked lacking in confidence and made some absolutely defensive howlers, the club may be willing to listen to offers for him during this off-season. Now, it is rumoured that Preston North End, where he came from, a championship team, and other championship clubs could well be interested in taking Davies back to the championship. And certainly, if Rangers could recoup some of the £4 million they paid Liverpool for Davies' services, it certainly would be a deal worth doing, as the club look to raise money to help Michael Beale to obviously remould and retune this squad this off-season. So could Davies be another player who is on his way out? It certainly seems to me that Davies is lacking in confidence, that he certainly seems to be, I don't know, just not the sort of player we need at this time. He doesn't seem to have a nasty streak in him. We need, I think, nastier, tougher players. Now, there's been calls in these last few games of the season that Michael Beale tries Leon King and John Souttar in these last 5 games against some of these teams that are remaining, some of the better teams in Scotland. Yes, still not a great deal of competition apart from Celtic, but better teams that they could really test out Leon King and John Souttar against to see what he's got in these two central defenders and quite the type of player he will need to invest in. But it does seem likely now the club are willing to listen for offers for Ben Davies, as they've decided to perhaps move on from this young man, thinking that he is not the future at central defence. Now, former Rangers star Chris Boyd, who I reported yesterday had something to say about Alfredo Morelos, has now been talking about Rangers American star Malik Tillman. Malik Tillman, who went off injured on Sunday after attempting a tackle, has, some people rumoured, played his last game for Rangers. At least that's what the media seem to be saying. Right, where's this come from? Now, apparently, the fact that Bayern Munich are seeking £5 million for this player, and the reports that he could be out injured for the rest of the season, apparently seemingly put Rangers off paying the money. And Boyd, former Rangers star, says he believes there is no chance Malik Tillman will move to Ibrox on a permanent basis from Bayern Munich this summer. Now, why does Boyd think this? What is the reasoning behind Boyd's thoughts on this? Boyd believes that the £5 million fee is a little bit too expensive for this player. He says, you've got Malik Tillman currently on loan from Bayern Munich. Would you pay £5 million to get him on a permanent deal? Absolutely no chance, Chris Boyd said. He doesn't believe that Tillman has done enough to prove that he is worth £5 million. He went on to say that right now, I'd say only 4 players would be stick-ons for a place in Beale's squad beyond the summer. James Tavernier, Nico Raskin, Connor Goldson, and Todd Cantwell. The rest I am not sure about for various reasons. Some are out of contract, some are getting to the end of their careers, and others are just simply not good enough for Rangers. So it certainly seems there is a great deal of debate over whether or not Rangers should pay the £5 million for Malik Tillman this off-season. Now, a number of fans think that it is worth speculating to accumulate, that they think it is worth paying the £5 million, as they say that, yes, Tillman perhaps hasn't performed his best against Celtic, for example, but the fact that the boy is only 20 years old and this is his first ever season in professional football, and his first ever season playing first team competitive football, he needs time to grow and time to develop. And they believe at Rangers he will do that, and that he could become a very good, high quality player for the club next season. However, there are others that believe that £5 million is far too much to pay for Tillman due to the fact that, in their words, he goes missing during big games. They, in particular, cite the Old Firm games, whereas yet Tillman has had no great effect. Now, it certainly appeared on Sunday he was playing a lot better up until that injury. And credit to the boy, he was absolutely devastated to be taken off against Celtic. Now, on my YouTube channel here, I've actually run a very unscientific, I get it, wholly unscientific poll, and on the Glasgow Rangers Nation Twitter account, which you can find at GRN1872, details on the bottom of the screen as we speak. Now, my unscientific poll returned these results. So on the YouTube site, I asked this question: should we sign Malik Tillman? 36% of responders said yes, Rangers should sign Malik Tillman. 64% said no, we shouldn't sign Malik Tillman. On Twitter, where we had double the response to the question, I asked, should we sign Malik Tillman on a permanent deal? 31% said yes, 69% said no. So it certainly seems that there is, within the fans that I have surveyed, they don't want to sign Malik Tillman. The overriding view from what was said from fans that didn't want him is because of the fact that, in their words, he hasn't shown up in the big games. The ones that do want to keep him, like I said, have argued that he's only in his first season, he's promising talent. You know, in 2 seasons' time, we could be selling him for 10, 15, 20 million pounds. Although apparently, allegedly, there is a clause in any deal that is done which will offer Bayern a buyout clause to buy Tillman back should he turn out to be a high quality player. Now, rumours have it that they have put a price on that, £10 million, which would double Rangers' money, but certainly is not the return that perhaps Rangers would be hoping for, and certainly not the money they could probably get if they sold him down south to an English Premier League club, if Tillman turns out to be the real deal. So there is a huge amount of debate. So Rangers fans, I'd love you to go and continue to vote on the YouTube poll. That is going to continue running all week. I'm going to bring you the final result before our game against Aberdeen on Sunday. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know in the comments as well. What do you think of Tillman? Is it worth risking the money? And like I said, it now appears that if he is that injured for the rest of the season, that there is perhaps a bit of doubt being sowed in Rangers fans and Rangers club coaches and officials' minds that whether it is worth paying that £5 million for him, or could that money be better spent elsewhere? Big rumours on that at this moment in time. We will continue to bring you news updates as they come to us, as we find them out, about the future of Malik Tillman. Okay, so let's before we get on to our unpopular take about James Tavernier, which it'd be unpopular, I think, amongst some fans, but popular amongst other fans. Let's talk about Jobe Bellingham. Jobe Bellingham is a very young, talented midfield player who currently plays for Birmingham City. And yes, Rangers fans, you are right. You have heard of his name, Bellingham. Unfortunately, it's not the Bellingham you've probably heard of. Now, the Bellingham you've all probably heard of is Jude Bellingham, who is the Borussia Dortmund and England player who has certainly caused a stir at the World Cup and in his international appearances for England, as well as his performances in the Bundesliga this year for Borussia Dortmund. Jobe Bellingham is the younger brother of Jude Bellingham. Jobe Bellingham is only 17 years old, so he's still a young and up-and-coming player. However, he has played first-team football for Birmingham in the Championship this season. He is described as a very talented player who can play the right wing, left wing, or as an attacking midfield player, so can play all along that front three behind the main striker. Bellingham has made 21 appearances for Birmingham, had one yellow card, and is yet to have any goal contributions. He has played in 9% of Birmingham's starting 11s this season, 13% of their first team minutes this season, and has yet obviously to offer any goal opportunities. Bellingham, if he signed, would be seen as very much one for the future and someone who could develop at Rangers in perhaps the same way that Zach Lovelace has done since he was signed from Millwall last summer. So, Bellingham Jr., you interested? What do you think, Rangers fans? Let me know in the comments below. Could Jobe Bellingham, younger brother of Jude Bellingham, God, I wish it was Jude Bellingham we were interested in. I wish we had the sort of money it would take to get Jude Bellingham. But I think, we'd definitely lose out to Liverpool, Manchester City, Real Madrid, and Manchester United, who are apparently offering 80, 90, 100 million pounds for the player. But Jobe Bellingham, are we interested? What do we think? Let me know in the comments below. Could he be someone that could come in and develop at the club and certainly get some first team minutes next season and have an impact? Probably off the bench initially before trying to get any starting minutes for Rangers, especially given the fact that he is only 17 years old. Okay, so let's talk about the captain. Let's talk James Tavernier. Now, a lot of Rangers pundits and Rangers insiders and Rangers reporters have obviously said that Tavernier is one of those four untouchables. Goldson, Cantwell, Raskin, the four players who are believed to be the players who will form the bedrock of next season's first team. Now, a lot of Rangers fans believe that Tavernier is awful defensively. Yes, he scores goals, but he only scores penalties and free kicks and shouldn't be the captain, and they don't rate him, and he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, and they don't like him, and they just don't like Tavernier. Then there are other Rangers fans who think that Tavernier is a fantastic player, that yes, he has a few defensive lapses, but he scores goals, he has assists. He does have the odd defensive ricket, but yes, overwhelmingly he is defensively sound, and possibly if he was pushed forward as a wing back rather than pinned in as a right back, he could be a lot more effective. On Sunday, he certainly had Rangers' best opportunities to score a goal, hitting the post, which then obviously led to that god-awful fashion Sakala miss, and that header, which he did the right thing by heading it down. Unfortunately, it bounced too high, and Joe Hart was able to easily collect it. Yes, he obviously fell asleep for the Diogo Jota goal, and if you watch back those highlights, I don't know what he was doing and why he then ran behind Jota. Not quite sure on that one, without asking Tav himself. However, listening to the Rangers review earlier and listening to a number of other podcasts and reading information, James Tavernier is someone who consistently produces for Rangers. Now, I can see the argument over the fact that he's not a leader, perhaps, and that Connor Goldson might be a better captain. And I can also see the arguments over the fact that his defence is not always the best. But in terms of his contributions going forward, he is certainly someone who continues to contribute on a regular basis. And in terms of his goal and assist output, he is by far one of the top 5 players in Scotland statistically over the last 5 seasons. That is indisputable by statistical fact. If we look at Tav's output over these last 5 seasons, this season he's played 33 games, has had 15 goals, and rather embarrassingly is our top scorer this season, a right back as a top scorer. And yes, I know, penalties and free kicks, but you've still got to put them away. Has contributed 22 goal contributions to the team in 33 games. Last year, in 35 games, he contributed 22 goal contributions again, 9 goals, 13 assists. In 2020-21, he again contributed 21 goal contributions in 33 games. In 2019-2020, he contributed 10 goal contributions in 24 games. And then in 2018-2019, contributed 28 goal contributions in 37 games. In 3 out of the last 5 seasons, he has got to double digits on goals, and in 2 out of the last 5 seasons has got to double digits on assists. Certainly a great total for a right back and someone who continues to contribute to Rangers. Now, I think we could better harness Tav and we could play him, for me, in a more creative role. Perhaps use him as a wing back. Perhaps next season, with all the talk that Beals had of going to 3 at the back, we could play 3 central defenders and push Tav up as a wing back, which would slightly take away from his defensive duties and allow what he does very well, which is to put the ball in the box and to assist the midfielders and strikers to score goals. Do what he does best, get an opportunity to score goals, get an opportunity to create goals. As we can see from his statistics, is something that he continues to do on a regular basis over these last 5 seasons. Look, I know he has his problems, his weaknesses, and he makes his mistakes, but most of this first team do. But I'm someone who thinks that Tavernier does have a future at this club, and certainly think that he can contribute next season going forward in turning Rangers around. I'd love to get your take on these statistics and on these facts about James Tavernier and get to know what you think about him too. Well, guys, a bumper video this morning, lots of information, lots of things. Thank you. If you've made it this far, you are a superstar. Please hit that like. Please also, if you can hit the sub, that'd be fantastic. And if you can ring the notification bell, you will really help yourself out by not missing out on any of that great content. And if you want to find us in any of our social media platforms or at www.buymeacoffee.com, then please do so at GRN1872 on Twitter, Glasgow Rangers Nation on Instagram, Glasgow Rangers Nation official on Facebook, and also now on TikTok at Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thank you so much for watching the channel, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you all. As always, this is a fan-driven channel run by me and Victoria, who are both Rangers fans, bringing you, the fan, all the latest news and information. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back to speak to you again very soon here on Glasgow Rangers Nation.